everyone, welcome to part 2 of my in-depth review of the new Ork Codex. So far, but not all is bad. Today we're going to talk about the HQ slot, Force Organization chart. And yeah, so let's start off by saying, first of all, well, last video we went over the Warlord traits and all that stuff. So, the HQ slots. Now, the previous Codex had some really cool things. If you brought certain HQs, you can take certain things as troops. Now that's gone. Now, obviously in 7th edition, in 7th edition, anything can score. But that being said, a lot of the time you would take the HQ to free up either the Force Organization chart itself. So like, you take a Big Mek to take Def Dreads, to take him out of the heavy support slot so you can take more heavy support. Or you would take, like, the War Boss, taking on Bikers, so that they could fulfill the minimum requirements for a list. But that's now gone. So now you have to take at least 2 min squads of Grots or boys, and then you can take whatever you want. And anything can score. So that's still good. Obviously, there's still the rule that if your opponent brings a lot of troops, you can't contest if they're scoring it. But that's still, right? So there's the bright side there. The downside, though, is you will lose a lot of the customization, but of course they did nerf a few things as well. I don't think Def Dreads are going to be worth taking in the end. I don't think not Bikers will be as strong, but we'll go with them. So, overall, the Warlords, most of them got cheaper or stayed about the same. Nothing really got too much more expensive. I think everything got cheaper, or most of them actually just stayed the same. What they also did that was kind of annoying to me was they took a lot of the upgrade characters for squads and made them HQs. And once again, it takes up the Force Organization chart, which is really annoying. So if you wanted to run 2 War Bosses and then you wanted to bring like Zagstruck, you can't anymore because Zagstruck is now an HQ, and that's annoying. As I said, because there's now there's 7 or 8 HQs, and you only can take 2 per game. So you really got to be very picky with your HQ slots. So we'll start off with the staple. Now, obviously, the original big HQ was Gozgothraka. He's now a Lord of War. I don't agree with that decision, but she's now Lord of the War, so he's not even in the HQ slots anymore. Goodbye. So we'll start off with the War Boss. Now, the War Boss was always really the go-to HQ for most Ork players that were playing in any competitive circuit, because you can customize him. He started off at a low points cost, and he's basically the same as he always was. The War Boss went from 60 points in the old Codex to 60 points in the new Codex, and he basically has all the same customizations. You can give him a Power Claw, you can give him, better armor. You can give him a Cyborg Body. Now, obviously, Cyborg Body has changed. It's now just a 6+ invul as opposed to a 5+. Sorry, it's a 6+ Feel No Pain as opposed to a 5+ invul. That's a huge change, by the way. That's a huge change, which is also a quasi nerf. You can give him a cool bike. You can give him maybe one of the artifact bikes, like War Boss Gazbag Splits bike. I covered that in the previous one. It's 35 points. But totally customizable, pretty much the same points costs for the upgrades. So he'll still be probably the go-to HQ for competitive games in the Ork Codex. He's good. And they didn't change him really that much. Other than the fact that the War Bosses used to be able to then allow knobs to be taken as troops, that's gone. So other than that, really not too much of a big change to War Bosses. Next is the Weird Boys. Now, I was kind of curious what will happen with the Weird Boys, because Psychic thing is the new fun thing, right? So, I'll go over the Psychic powers just after the Weird Boy, because then we can discuss the Psychic powers. But I'm excited. So, the Weird Boy is the same as the old Weird Boy. He got slightly cheaper. He went from 55 points down to 45 points, so down 10 points. And he has something called Wah Energy. So a Weird Boy generates a bonus +1 warp charge if, at the start of your Psychic phase, there are 10 or more models with the Here We Go special rule within 12 inches of him, which is almost all the time. You want him attached to a squad. He generates a bonus warp charge in the manner that he must pass at least one psychic test during that phase, or suffer a single strength 2 strength 2 hit at the end of the phase with no saves allowed. So it wounds him on a 6. Not too important. He's toughness 4. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And you can upgrade him to a level 2 Psyker for 25 points. So for 70 points, you have a level 2 Psyker. That will give the orcs a little bit of, psychic fun. And, yeah. And also they kind of removed that whole reroll, roll a different thing each turn. So there goes that. There's a lot of the randomness is gone in this codex, you'll find. But let's go over the power of the Wa. So before the game, you generate your power. The Primaris power for psychic powers is Frazzle. It's equivalent to the old Frazzle. 24-inch, it's a Witchfire. Strength 6, AP 3, Assault 1, Blast. Pretty good. It kills some Space Marines. Number 1 is Edbanger. It's a focused Witchfire, 24-inch range. The target must pass a toughness test or suffer a wound with no armor saves or cover saves allowed. 2 is Warpath. It's a blessing. All models in the Psyker's unit have the Here We Go special rule. That all have that Here We Go special rule, gain a +1 attack. So once again, if you're going to be running a giant squad of Slugga boys, like I think this codex really wants you to do, it'll help. Almost all the benefits of this codex seem to fall into the Slugga boy combination. It's really, yeah, it's a little over the top. Number 3 is to jump. To jump is a blessing, and you basically deep strike. But if the deep striking unit scatters and a double is rolled, the unit can only snapfire until the start of its next turn. 4 is Kill Bolt, 18-inch beam, strength 10, AP 2, assault 1. That's pretty fun. They got rid of the Melta one from the previous one, now it's a beam. Power Vomit, number 5. That's a pretty awesome name, Power Vomit. Warp Charge 2. So is a Kill Bolt, Warp Charge 2. It's a template, and it's a Witchfire, strength 7, AP 2, assault 1. Number 6 is to Crunch. It is 24-inch, 2d6, Witchfire, AP 4, Assault 1, Large Blast, Barrage. But if when rolling to determine to Crunch's strength, you roll 11 or 12, completely resolve the attack at strength 10, and then roll another 2d6 and resolve a second attack against the original target of the psychic power. That's cool. If this second attack also rolls an 11 or 12 with strength, resolve another attack as described above. Continue repeating this process until either you roll a 10 or less when determining the attack's strength or the original target is completely destroyed. That's kind of fun. I like that. Warp Charge 2. And of course they have a little thing about old Zogwart there. What I love about these new codices, they love to rub salt on the wound. Whenever they remove a model, they always put a little blurb about them just to remind you that they used to exist. Kind of funny. So, as I mentioned, in this codex, any character that doesn't have a model is no longer existent. They do that, obviously, lawsuit problems and stuff. It's always good to keep copyright on your own things, so that's one of the reasons why any model you should probably have a model for. Any character you should have a model for. So, in this codex, the 2 that are gone are Wazdaka and Zogwart. They're both removed from the HQ section. So, Weird Boy. He was pretty cool. I think it'd be fun. I'm going to try him out and have some fun there. I think it'll be fun. Next is the Mek, and he's equivalent to the Big Mek, the Mek Boy from the previous codex, and he doesn't take up a force organization chart. Essentially, you can assign a Mek into squads. It's called Mechaniacs. For each HQ choice in a detachment, you may include a single Mek, and you just he's like a royal court for Necrons. You just attach him to the squad before the game starts. And he can take a Kill Saw, a Grot Oiler. Cool stuff. Next is the Big Mek. Now there's even more. I love Big Meks. Big Meks are fun, and I love running my can wall, so I was always taking Big Meks with custom force fields. And in this codex, Big Meks got even more versatility and more choices, so that's pretty cool. Because they obviously released new models as well. So your Big Mek has the same standard standard stat lines before. I don't think they changed a single stat line in this entire codex. That being said as well. The Big Mek went from 35 points to 35 points, so no change there. You can take heavy armor. What I found was a lot of the upgrades got cheaper in this codex. So you can take a shock attack gun for 50 points, custom force field for 50 points, or you can give him you can give him mega armor. So Big Mek may replace his Slug and Choppa with Mega Armor, Custom Mega Blasta, and Power Claw for 40 points, but then in turn you can replace your Big Mech with Mega Armor can take one of the following: a Teleport Blasta or Custom Force Field for an additional 50 points. So for 125 points, you can have a Big Mech in Mega Armor and a Custom Force Field running around the table. That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to probably take that in the future. I'll try them out. Now the only thing is, remember, Custom Force Fields changed so that they, instead of giving a 5+ cover, they give a 5+ invul save, which is great. I like that benefit. And the only downside though is he's in a vehicle. Only the vehicle gets it now, for now, not the things around it. So if you put a Big Mech in a truck or a battle wagon, only that vehicle itself gets the invul save, nothing around it. So that will change the dynamics of running a Big Mech. Up next now, we have one of the upgrade guys who got moved to the slot. Painboy, 50 points. And once again, he gives Feel No Pain to his squad. And he has an Early Syringe, which is poisoned, 4+. And that's basically it. He's the same style line as before. Once again, the big nerf is that instead, you used to be able to take multiple squads of knobs, and each squad can upgrade to a Painboy. Now you can take maximum 2 Painboys, and if you take them, they take up all of your HQ slots. So that's a huge, huge change to the dynamics of Orks. Because now you can take up 2 Painboys. If you take 2 Painboys, you're not taking any Big Mechs. So there go your cover saves, and you're not taking any war bosses. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be no more Feel No Pain, or if you do, there's going to be it's going to really force the Ork player to decide what exactly they want to accomplish, and try to accomplish it with their list, because there's not a lot of choices. There's a lot of choices now for very little slots. Up next, Mad Dog Grotsnik. See, it's really weird to me now that we have a character Painboy and the Painboy right beside each other in the HQ slot. And he's 160 points. He has a rule called 1 Scalpel short of a med pack, Dog Grotsnik, and any unit he joins have the Fearless and Rampage special rules. Once Dog Grotsnik has joined a unit, he may not leave it unless he is the last member. So that's kind of interesting. His Warlord trait is Brutal but Cunning. And besides that, he pretty much has a Power Claw, Doc's Tools, Early Syringe, Cyborg Body. And as I said, he's 160 points. He didn't change between codexes. So, interesting choice. Up next, Captain Badruck. Now, once again, he was an upgrade for he's the Freebooter King. But he was an upgrade for the Flash Kits, and now he's an HQ. So again, if you want to take Flash Kits and you want to take him, he takes up another force organization chart. It's a kind of annoying. He take up to 3 ammo runs for 3 points each. He used to have 3, I believe, automatically. He is 110 points. He got cheaper. He used to be 135. So down 25 points. That's not bad. He's a Slug Out, Choppa, Stick Bombs, Boss Bowl, Get Finda. So if he doesn't move, he has better ballistic skill. Gold Teeth Armor, 3+ armor, 5+ invul. And he has Darippa, 24-inch, Strength 7, AP 2, Assault 3, gets Hot Shot. Cool. So he's pretty fun. Again, like, he might be worth taking if you want to take a bunch of Flash Kits. I love the new kits. They look great. But he takes up the force organization chart. So you got to be very, very picky. Next, Boz Eggstruck. Once again, formerly an upgrade to the Storm Boys. Now he's an HQ. And they changed him pretty badly as well. He used to have the rule that if you included him in your list, you could assault the turn you came in, but you couldn't shoot. Now, Games Workshop really has been removing those guys from the book. They don't like that. Like, they removed Imgarl Gene Stealers, and that was pretty much the rumor that they were going to nerf Zagstruck, and they did. They took that away. He has Divulture Claws, which are Hammer Wrath attacks made by Boss Eggstruck, or Strength 8, AP 2. And, yeah, I don't even think they state that Divulture Claws is a Slugga and a Choppa. So that's a huge nerf. So his Divulture Claws used to be Power Claw weapons. Now it's just his Hammer Wrath weapons are Strength 8 AP 2. That's a pretty big nerf, and he has a Choppa. Going from a Power Claw to a Choppa. So, Zagstruck, once again, dropped in price from 85 points to 65 points, but I wouldn't take him. That's not, I don't think he's worth it. by no means. I'd rather just take a knob with a power claw. Much better choice than Zagstruck. And that's it. So now we've gone over the HQs and the psychic power. So as you can see, most of the HQs actually didn't change much in costs. What they could do slightly changed, like obviously the big mechs, you can take more, you know, you can take them now in mega armor. That's great. Custom force fields got slightly changed, some in some ways better, some ways worse. I'd rather have a 5+ invul than a 5+ cover, but yeah, I don't know. The fact that no more take this guy, you can take these as troops, kind of sucks. And they moved so many more guys into the HQ slot. They moved Gosgothraka out, so now he's Lord of War. And then they removed Wazdak and Zogwart because there weren't any models. But then now there's so now there's the Mad Dog Grotsnik, Painboy, Warboss, Big Mech, Weird Boy, Badruk, Zagstruck. So 7 options. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys for 2 slots. And the most lists I see with this Ork Codex are going to have 2 of the same guy. 2 war bosses, 2 big mechs. Or maybe one of the characters. I don't know. Or Painboys. See? There's so many options now of what you want to do. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, I think. That's one of the problems with moving all these guys to HQ slot. So many choices now. So you used to have a list full of characters. You could take, you know, Zagstruck and Zogwart and a Warboss and Badruk and Zagstruck, and now can't, because you only take 2. So that concludes this part of my evaluation of the new Ork Codex. As I said, some good things, not all bad, but some bad. So I'm going to try not to say the word nerf, because nerf is getting annoying. I don't want to be like a nerf person, but there are a lot of decreases in quality, but there's a couple good ones. So I really hope you enjoyed this part. Leave a comment in the comment section down below what you feel about this new codex. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree? You might have a great point that I missed, and we'll talk about it. So until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.